See, this whole free. I mean, and that's the problem. I also have some
There's no freedom of
You know,
any.
it was the person that before Queen Elizabeth actually took over, I think was supposed to be Queen Elizabeth, I can't remember. He was supposed to actually take control, but because of the whole white situation and all, he abdicated the position. Do you understand? So he fell in love. So what if this person falls in love with all his family?
That's why by design you try not to have one.
You want to be when you pray.
Do you mean little when I was 6 or little when I was 18?
Oh, 2 years.
So when I was 6, I wanted to be a doctor, but when I was like 18, 19, I wanted to be a motivational speaker.
You motivational speaker.
Yes.
Well, I think I just wanted to be a writer because I remember watching a movie about some writers for one governor's speech that eventually fell in love. I don't know why I got that idea, but I wanted to be a writer.
And today you're writing. Wow. So what's our topic today exactly?
So we're breaking down the whole definition of success and building new one that can actually serve us all. Because what if everything we talk about me is completely wrong?
Thankfully, our guest will shed more light on the topic. Take a look. Welcome back to today's show. Today, we're doing something different. We have not one, not two, but 3 incredible guests who have each redefined success in their own unique ways.
We have with us Mr. Damilare Adeshina, a tech and fitness enthusiast who's built success both in the corporate world as a tech support specialist and as an entrepreneur, co-founding QIS Nigeria to deliver IT solutions.
We also have Mr. Gbemiga Soname, a chartered accountant who could have easily defined success by his professional credentials alone, ACCA, ACA, expertise in finance. But instead, he chose to expand his definition of success to include being a relationship mentor, speaker, and volunteer.
And finally, joining us is Mr. Remi Ogunkayo, CEO at Momentum Africa, who's taking his success across continents, leading political campaigns in Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Senegal, and of course, Africa.
What's beautiful about all of the 3 guests we have here is that they represent 3 definitions of success, from tech entrepreneurship to purposeful finance to global strategy. Welcome to Spotlight with IP. Okay, so icebreakers. So I have one question for you guys. If you could achieve one thing, just one thing, and no other thing right now where you are, if only one thing could be achieved in your life for the rest of your life, what would that be? I need you all to answer one by one. Damn, Larry.
If I could achieve one thing for the rest of my life, that would be
One thing.
one thing. Just want to be happy. I mean, happiness is like the ultimate goal for me in everything.
That sounds very cheaty.
But yeah, it's the truth. Actually, happiness for me is like what I always strive towards. Happiness for me is my goal in everything I do, regardless if it is work, if it is fitness. I always strive for happiness.
Okay. Even though I would have wished a different answer, more specific, but I'll take that. Gbemiga.
Well, I'm not sure mine may be different from his as well, but maybe I'll just play with words and I'll say I would want to live a joyful life, and how that joy comes to me maybe in different ways, right? So, for example, if I can have every family on the earth happy and excited and living out their potentials, that would make me joyful. Yeah.
Interesting. Sorry, me.
Pretty much the same thing. But I'll use semantics too. I'm saying I would like to feel like things that were important to me I was able to do.
Okay.
So speaking of fulfillment and success, now social media, anybody on social media, would see success as maybe I have 100 million views or flashy cars or flashy, different things. Like the world has changed in context of what they define success to be. Why do you think that this is happening? That's climbing. And I think we're.
I think the first thing is what you focus on is what you become. Unfortunately or fortunately for us, social media is the predominant thing for everybody. So very few people are not affected by social media. And so if people have started creating a standard based on what they see on social media, that translates to what everybody thinks is success. Now, but when we get to our houses, we start realizing that some of the things that we thought if we achieved them, be happy, then we realize that, okay, I did this, but nothing really changed in my life. So that's really
Gbemiga, based on what he said, do you then think that it would then pose a challenge for the generations to come because we're defining success as 100,000 views, 1 million followers on social media, and everybody, and there's just this race to belong to that category? What do you think that will eventually become?
Well, I think it's already becoming it already because we're already living in these times where you're having young people who no longer want to, in quotes, do the hard work. They want to do the soft work. And there's really nothing, in quotes, wrong with a soft life in a sense, but a soft life must be powered by the hard work. And having young people these days, like you said, looking out for the likes. I mean, just made a post 2 seconds ago, and you're checking, you're refreshing your IG post to see who has liked your post and all of that. It could border up identity because then you are getting validation from the external. And true success should first of all be internal. Like, identify your success from within and give yourself that validation, not from the external.
Okay.
I wanted to throw a spanner in the works
Okay.
of this because, we can say, oh, young people are this, young people are that. But by and large, growing up, people used to define themselves by their work. I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer. I'm a this, and that was the identity of this thing. So, what's really wrong with the identity being
I'm an
influencer, I'm a very popular person?
Damilare, I think you are in Gen Z, so you can answer for that.
I think you are very right. There's nothing actually wrong with identifying as an influencer. But where I have the problem is when you are doing it out of a place of pressure, peer pressure, so to speak. Because you see some people, you see what they are achieving online. You're like, my mom said I should be a doctor. My mom said, but these people are making money. These people are, they're getting the views, they're getting fame. Do you get? But you don't know how they feel on the inside. You only see what they post on the internet. So you also set up your own account, start doing it, and you now find out, oh, okay, this is the reality of what it is. So I agree with you. There's nothing wrong with it. But the reality of it is what most people don't understand.
But again, growing up, you wanted to be a doctor, not because you really like medicine, but because
They anointed you.
you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer,
This one,
you have to be this, you have to be that. I mean, growing up, they wanted me to be a doctor, and
who are they?
family wanted me to be a doctor. To my sister was a lawyer, just
Did you have any
just
engineering?
no. But I mean, it's just a science student, so
That's
going to be a doctor. But I'm saying the same thing applies because there are many people who eventually I have friends who became doctors, and after maybe 7 years, like, what am I doing? So it's pretty much the same thing. Identities have been about and even the parents, not because they didn't choose lawyers or doctors, because when we were growing up, people who had money, who had fame, who had influence, were people who were doctors, lawyers, and all those things. And so because they wanted success for their kids, they chose this thing. Now, maybe the person who is coming up, the children of nowadays, what you want to probably be is a streamer. I mean, or a gamer, and you as a parent, that you're thinking, am I really going to?
So you're saying that the parameters haven't changed,
Haven't really changed.
but then it's just the way
dynamics
that have just changed. But then again, we also notice that even though in quotes parameters haven't changed, but there is more probability that these are short-lived because we'll see doctors for many years.
Why do you think short-lived?
Because how long now? Okay, so where we have people that claim to be influencers for whatever. And there are some people that just came to the celebrities. Is that really sustainable as something to say, this is what I do for a living?
Another devil's advocate.
Okay. Love it.
When, again, I go back to when we were growing up, it built much closer to when I was a teenager. You wanted to be football. It's a very short point, which is probably the same thing as what you're complaining about the social media. I mean, take people who are not the norm, like Davido, Wizkid, who have transcended, but the average lifespan of a musician in Nigeria, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8. The hit musician,
Maybe.
I mean, the average. I'm not saying the exceptional ones. The average ones. How's that different from the social media influencer who is popular for a while?
I'm just going to jump in to say that. So apart from, yes, we've talked about like the roles still being the same, but everyone still has to, like, if you're defining and measuring success, it can't be generalized, right? At the end of the day. So I have to look inwards to say, what is success to me? What is success to you? And it may mean that I go on different trajectories in my life and reinvent myself from time to time. So you can have, for example, the biggest footballer today, CR7, right? I don't know if I'm allowed to call him here, but
arguably, no, it's not. There is no argument.
But just yesterday, he just won another major trophy, right? And he won a major trophy. Well, maybe not a major trophy, but he won another trophy. And but he's been able to build his brand away from football, right? And that also goes same with David Beckham, who started that lifestyle where I could have my football going, I could also have this fashionista lifestyle going side by side. So that was almost like, in quotes, a retirement plan, in the sense that, okay, once I'm done kicking football, I can switch into this. So I'm just saying that, yes, Omobola was saying that they have a short life plan, a short life span. But I'm saying that if you can reinvent yourself, I'm sure you have actors who have, everybody now, actors have become producers, scriptwriters, politicians, so
president and
exactly. So it's you keep looking within and evolving, and then you never get out of the game, in my opinion.
I think
so it's pretty hard. I would say in our generation it's kind of hard to reinvent yourself.
Please define it again.
In Gen Z's generation now, it's very hard to reinvent yourself.
Why?
I say this because when you start something, especially take Portable for example, it's a very good example. I think from the name, you don't understand what I'm trying to say. So take Portable for example. Everybody knows him as this very loud.
Expect a letter from the lawyer.
Please continue.
Everybody knows him as this character. Do you understand him? So if you are saying Portable should reinvent himself, how would you? Because this is everything is known. This is literally what brought him out from abject poverty. So how do you expect somebody like that to reinvent himself? Take streamers for example. Imagine Kaisinat leaving all the following he has, and you're telling him go and reinvent himself. So it's quite hard because again, the pressures of social media can't. I think we are downplaying it a lot. The pressure on this generation, it's like it's very, very, very chronic.
I don't disagree with the pressure. Something fundamental happened.
There's a
And
shift.
they thought, hold on, if I don't do something, So it's. I don't think anybody reinvents themselves for the fun of it. Something happens. So maybe Kai, like you gave an example you gave. Has all these streams, all this blah, blah, blah. But if people don't pay attention to him, then he has no choice but to reinvent himself. He's going to say that he's doing the same thing.
But it's not realistic.
No, okay, so now let's figure it out. Someone that maybe started having a social media account.
Why are we talking about social media?
No, well, I know. No, but we're getting there at, let's say, age 12 or 14. And he became really famous at age 16 for just being on social media, for whatever the person is doing. And then he begins to grow up. That's all he ever knows all his life. He didn't even try to say, let me get a degree or let me do this. Do you understand? That's all he has known. how does such a person now say, oh, I want to reinvent myself and claim some success?
How's that different from a sports person?
Yeah.
It's all the same.
It's just that the person has primed. The difference is that it may come to the social media person as a surprise. Now, because we've had decades and decades of sports people and those who claim to have short careers. So even as you start, people are telling you, you know, this thing you cannot pay until past year 35. So it's ringing at the back of your head that you have to reinvent yourself like this. Now, the social media, because we don't have that luxury of that late time, the person does not think that, okay, maybe people won't pay attention to me. This attention economy is going to wane. So I guess that's probably the hardest part of it. And while I don't underestimate the impact, because unlike previous generations, there has been sufficient time to adapt to those things. Now, and it wasn't as what's the word? I don't remember the word. It wasn't as immersed in our life as the phone is. When I wake up in the morning, one of the first things I do is check my phone and see what has happened overnight, you know. And it's like, you know, okay, did somebody call me or did something happen abroad? Or check that. What will do? I'm checking that. When I was growing up, you couldn't watch TV till 4 p.m.
Yeah.
So you go out, you play, you do other things. It's not as integrated in our lifestyle. So I don't underestimate the impact that's going to happen. So I think.
I actually find, one of the things I always tell people, especially this, I know there's a lot of conversation about Gen Zs and how will they be able to adapt to the change. And one thing is, over the course of generations, new generations have come, other generations have come. And I like what Remi said about there are things that will happen to you in life that you then know that you have to invent. So it's like life, I think life just has a package that comes along with it, that forces you, no matter what new invention comes along, that forces you to go and find new definitions of what success is per time. So the question would then be: is success you say it is short term if you experience it for a short time, or is it something that is a lifelong experience? Like you say, at the end of my life I'll determine if it's success or is it fleeting?
I was successful 2 years ago, but now I'm not successful again.
So I would say success is dynamic, right? Success is always changing. You might be aiming for something, you get there, then you realize, this how it feels, like nothing. You set another goal. So success is always changing. There's always another definition. There's always something to chase. Yeah. So I agree that success.
Is it something you're chasing?
Exactly. That's it. Do you mean that success is attaining something that you plan to or you are aiming at? Is that success to you?
Success comes from within. For that's like what you said.
That's like, I feel like you just preached the message there. I just turned it to, okay, let's do pastor.
Success comes from within, right? When you know what makes you fulfilled as a person, right? Once you have that alignment with your aspirations, that's what you feel inside is aligned with what you are chasing. I think that's what. So that alignment has to be there on the inside and on the outside.
What if there's no monetary value, or not a lot of monetary value attached to what is giving you success within? You still find that success.
So let me ask you a question. Imagine, let's play this scenario. You have house rents to pay. God forbid, maybe a sibling is very sick.
Yeah.
There's also the pressure of just meeting your basic needs.
Yeah.
You need to send money to someone, this and that, and you don't have all of those things. But let's say you have a girlfriend that loves you.
That's not really success.
So would you say, well, I'm successful if at least there's this, but then this is not? So talk to us. Is it money? Will not having money, would you still say I'm successful even though I don't have money? That's the question.
I think it's not until I act before I know I'm successful. Because in the case where until I actually act, like the action. What I mean is, everything I do in this life, I try to keep in relations. Do you understand? So in the scenario you painted where my sibling might need money, house rent is there, I will try my possible best. I can't keep myself. So I'm going to find solace in the fact that I've given this my best. Do you get? So that's for just even trying the success. There are most people out there that will just, well, you can't come and kill myself.
Sorry. I'm going to take you on that because the truth about it is like, I'm going to touch up. Yeah.
I need Remi to speak on that.
Wait. So you know this thing when you ask somebody, I feel like the millennial generation, right? To push them to an extent.
Yeah.
But Gen Z is nothing. Let me not call someone name there. Damilare. Mental health. Mental health.
I'm being stressed right now. I don't want to do
trying
anything
your best,
stressful.
but then you just do small like, my mental health, and then you think you've tried your best. So like, how do you truly define that you've tried your best?
When I've exhausted all my options, basically.
What do you say?
When I've exhausted my options.
Damilare, sorry, I jabbed you.
Okay.
Okay. I think we've touched on different things. Try to define success.
Yeah.
And like you said, first of all, it has to be internal. And I started by saying that success would mean different things to different people at different seasons. So, for example, when I was in secondary school, probably my junior secondary school, having the full numbers of the most beautiful girls in my class and my friends would be success to me because I was able to have conversations. You gave me your number. I called you.
Wow. That was success to you at that time.
At that time, yes, because I remember having a bet with a friend and saying, she won't give you a number, but I will get a number.
Wow.
Do you get? And I did. So in that season of my life, right, that was success. Right now, seasons have changed. So for me, success is more intrinsic. I'm married. I have a son. Family time, spending time with my family, helping us, achieving things together as a family is success to me, right? Also, but let's not also take the fact away because you were touching on money. Money is important in the equation, but money shouldn't define your perspective to life. And I say this because if you worked in organizations where you have like drivers and people that maybe are lower cadre, and somehow, these people have
More joy.
More joy. They have like maybe 4 or 5 children, probably living in a 1 or 2 bed, maybe one bed. And sometimes some of them even own those houses because they've gone to they're taking loans from cooperatives and they've gone to build houses at the outskirts of town. And you talk to them and you can sense a sense of joy at their level. Right, I'm struggling with, I didn't eat goat meat today, I didn't eat tofu tomorrow, I'm dealing with, I want to buy a new car. Do you understand? But at their level, there's just that level of joy. Now, I'm not saying, so I'm just saying that for everybody, it will mean different things. So my own compass will be different from Remi's compass and different from his compass, right? So, but is money important? Yes, it is. Do you have to be, so at the end of the day, I see it as, what gives me fulfillment in that season of my life, right? Last year may be different. This year may be different. But every time I'm reevaluating, I'm asking myself questions. What am I supposed to do differently to ensure that I am fulfilled? Because you could be, forgive me, I'm switching now. You could be in a relationship or even in a marriage relationship or whether it's a dating relationship. And then you realize that, I feel used. I'm not, in quotes, I'm making lots of sacrifices and I'm not getting anything in return. And then that leaves you with a sense of dissatisfaction. And you're asking yourself, I didn't come here to, I'm not in this relationship to be the sacrificial lamb, right? So different things happen at different points in time. So you must always reevaluate what success is to you over time. I'll just drop it at that point.
Wait, I want to hear it.
So, he touched on the thing I wanted to touch on in terms of money.
Yeah.
But I've been guided by 2 quotes that from my siblings that I had growing up. First one, really interesting. When I was very fascinated about the music industry, this was at the beginning of the music industry.
What's that? What was that?
This was Open for Two-Face, and so
okay.
So this was when Two-Face just left Plantation. So this is really at the beginning what this thing is, and then I was in the middle of that. And of course, I couldn't see how my life would be out of music. And it gave me so much joy, but soft. And as you understand, there's pressure everywhere, pressure. And then my brother called me and said to me, he said, you know what? If I want to wake up in the morning and sing out and talk for him, nobody's going to question. The reason why you're getting this is because you've not gotten a lot of financial results. If you get financial results from it, it's no longer a pity, it's no longer a pop. So the video now, everybody wants their child to be a musician. Everybody likes, old people don't like the music. 12, 15 years ago, if you wanted, even if he said his father was trying to stop him from doing same thing. So this financial success is important, very, 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 very important. The second quote that I always deal by is, again, my sister said, it's better for everybody to have money so that you know what your real problem is.
I like that too.
And it's been a guiding philosophy. Because, when you don't have money, there are some things. So maybe my girlfriend and she talks to me, I start feeling
because I don't
have money. But if I have money and she talks to me, I'm like, no, this is just you being normal. You understand? So I don't want us to downplay the importance of money, but I also agree you can also get to a level where you achieve the things that you've achieved, and maybe that day. In fact, I was talking with a couple of friends and said we're talking about somebody who got something and was so excited. I said, I really wish I could have that length of excitement about something. You get something now, maybe you're excited about that day. Oh God, I got this dream. You're excited about that day. By the next day, you moved on to operations. You understand?
Yeah. So based on the question she asked earlier, so a few years ago I was in that situation, that actual situation. Because
For the girlfriend?
no, not the girl. Remove the girlfriend.
Not
Remove the
having
girlfriend,
actual
but
money.
yeah, not actually having that. So I was in that situation because I'm the firstborn in my house. So I was at the point where I was taking on a lot of pressure, a lot of bills. My mom fell sick. I just found myself in a constant cycle of look for money, solve problems, look for money, solve problems, over and over. And it got to a point where the depression felt so bad. I wouldn't say I had resentment. It wasn't resentment because resentment is pretty harsh, but I wasn't satisfied with the life I was living. Like they would ask me for money, and I'm like, is that what I came to life? Is that what I came to this life to do? Do you understand? So it took having those conversations with them. Like, if you need money, I'll try my best. And that's what I meant by I will try. Do you understand? I'll try my best. You guys can find how you do yourself. So, like, success is an alignment on the inside and on the outside. So now I find myself chasing my goals, and at the same time, I want my mom to be happy. If I'm able to do that, that's fine. But I'm always conscious of the fact that everything has to align. So I'm sure I'm not living somebody else's story. I'm not caught in somebody's view. Do you understand what I mean? So, like, I'm constantly in charge of my own story.
Yeah. So I have a question. So we know that now in this world that we are now, in this current generation, it's easier for young people to make money, not building wealth. So when you say someone has money, old money, that means this thing has lasted for many years, from generation to generation. Now, in my own opinion, I see people that have money now, but cannot transcend to generation. Do you see that as a problem, or we'll just move past it?
If I go by devil's advocate, let me go.
Well, wealth should be, wealth ordinarily or non-ordinary.
So let me ask this question. Do you think that everyone has to go through a process to really have sustainable wealth / success? Or
So are you equating wealth and success?
Well, will I be lying?
No, because I think that you could be wealthy, but definitely doesn't mean you're successful. Like you could have made a lot of money from whatever means, maybe legal means or I mean.
So if Dangote came now and said that I'm not successful,
Sorry,
would
say
you
that
be
again?
shocked? If Dangote came now and said I'm not successful,
I don't think that Dangote is not successful, and I'm sure you don't put. And I'm not.
We are defining
why?
it for him.
Oh, yeah, you
Let's
see.
No, and I know he
You
did not
see.
make his money illegally. I'm thinking of like an Escobar now. Like Escobar was really rich. He was, and I use the word wealthy. That kind of money transcends, in fact, timelines of generation. Do you understand? But do
We
you?
didn't transfer.
But they stole it. They excavated this. They took it from him basically. But if there was a system that would not stop that from being retrieved, should I even go too far? Even in our present context, there are certain leaders over time that have left wealth for their children, right? Even if it is retrieved or not retrieved, the point is, will you define that as success?
Wait,
The how.
okay, so let's say
The
an
how.
MQ Abiola for instance, when he was alive, he would have said he was successful, a successful politician, he had money, he had wealth that he left. But now, we can't see his wealth anymore.
No, I don't.
But still there. Not at the scale of when he was there. It's still there.
I think that he actually did.
It's still there.
So do you think that people, and I know that my question can be, do you think that there's a problem where people are not really about the process anymore? They are just about, let's make it now. I don't care about tomorrow. Tomorrow take care of yourself.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Okay, let me just speak to that a bit. So we talk about generational wealth and all of these things, right? And I feel like the most important thing still, everything still comes back to the family system. Because, I mean, if you are going to pass wealth from one generation to another, it has to be embedded in the family system. So, for example, if for some wealthy people now, I do not know the kind of trainings parents are giving to their children, such that the child is not saying, my own duty is just to take, whenever daddy just dies, I'm just going to take this money and live a certain lifestyle, right? Without understanding the process of how daddy or mommy or both of them were able to build the wealth, right? And that's why this popular book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, you hear these kind of things where you are being taught on how to like really instill discipline into your child. So like if you own a business, you should take your children through the rigor of understanding how money is made. What did we sell? What did we buy? What are the services that the goods that we produce? That way the child is getting educated on. So when daddy or mommy exit the earth, if I have interest in that business, this is how things are done. But we see a system whereby wealth is not, you can find a lot of families that have been able to turn over wealth from generation to another generation. And that's simply because the family's value system, something there was missing. But I feel like if I raise my children, you raise your children, we all give the same thing with the right values, right? They understand that wealth would not leave this house because, and that's why you struggle to stay in a particular line of business. These families are the ones in charge of, you call jewelry, this family. Whether it's, I don't want to call any business or any name, right? But, different families are known for certain things. And then if you're able to pass that discipline, it may not even necessarily be your biological children, but maybe people around you that have come to learn what you are about. That way, I know that values, because you see this thing quite often. The father is wealthy, the mom wealthy, and you see the children living a certain lifestyle off the wealth of their parents. And you are certainly sure that once these parents just cough like this child will go, either he would land in jail, either he will kill someone, or something will go wrong because they have not understood the process of how this work was gotten. Just like almost fell on their laps.
So Remi, do I have to work hard now to be successful?
Yes. So if you have to work hard now to be successful,
But
depends on what you mean by working. For example, the person who is streaming, I may look at it and be like, this is not hard work.
Wait, it is.
But that's what I'm saying. It's the different. Somebody who is posting on Twitter and is making more than I'm making. I may think, oh, maybe this person, oh yeah, oh, I'm waking up early in the morning, I'm sleeping, and so I think that's really it. In terms of, I don't even know if we have transferred business like the success of this over 3 generations. I'm not very sure. If they are,
I think in Nigerian context,
in Nigerian context. So I'm not even sure if they are maybe out of like 200 million, maybe like 10. Or, it was very, very.
Why
very,
do you think that?
I mean, he said something about family system, but I think it's probably deeper than that because many of these people are well adjusted, children, this thing. But what I'm going to say is a bit controversial in the sense that business in Nigeria is there is the business, there is the finances, and there is another X factor that is required. And that X factor usually is very entrenched relationships with either the powers that be or something. So there's some, that's why when we're talking about business in Nigeria, for people to explain to you how do you make money, how do you do this, how do you go from X to this level, it's God, it's very difficult to explain the of it because how do they explain that, I had this business, I was sitting down with somebody called me and said, oh, come on, buy this company.
So sorry, Remi, so are you saying that success is the game of time and chance?
Yes, but I'm saying that, so let's say I started business. I started a business now. And I've had very strong relationships. I was sitting in my house. Maybe somebody I helped sometime became the president or something. And then the person tells me, oh, for the good thing you did, come and take this oil block. And I get the oil block.
Please, I'm ready for oil block.
And I get the oil block. And so I get the oil block. And we start the process, start making money, blah, blah, blah. The kid comes in. He's gone to the right schools, he's done the right things, so he's running that business. But can't run at the scale at which I'm running. I ran the business because he doesn't yet have those depth of relationships that were formed. Possibly that could be the reason why there's much.
But that was when you to also
build that
introduce into that.
I don't know if some of them. So let's take Aliko Dangote, for example. By everything I've seen, his daughters are very, very, very brilliant, very great. I expect them to do very well at that business. Maybe she can call Bill Gates. The way Aliko will call it Bill Gates, daughter Bill Gates.
So are you now relating it to relationship?
No, I'm saying in the Nigerian context. The way that Aliko Dangote call a president Tinubu, it's around the way his daughter will call president. Do you understand? So
what if she's calling Tinubu? I'm just saying.
Tinubu's son doesn't have the influence of Tinubu.
Yeah, but do you know if Tinubu's son will have the same influence with Tinubu?
But these people are actively trying to transfer.
Yes, they are, but will they be successful? And they may be. I'm not even saying, I'm just saying they may. It's possible that it's like interest.
What do you think is a thing of interest? Like, for example, I know this thing happens in Nigeria because my father is a pastor. Do I have to be a pastor? So the generation has to be a pastor. So I may have a big successful church, right? But do I want to pastor? Do you understand? Like, and if you put me there,
what you have to. I don't know. How do I have? No, but let's contextualize. How do I build possibly in the case of winners? Not trying to. But in case of winners, you have something that even people abroad are telling you that what's going on here? You have this thing, and you now say, oh, you don't want to be that confused.
When it comes out, what we talk about Damilare.
So why?
Sorry, no, but about what we talk about personal, what success means to you personally. So I may just want to maybe sell a show, okay, and that's my personal dream. Do you understand? And then there's the weight of my father's success on my head. So how do I pick a success path to actually take?
It's life.
That's such a good problem. Imagine you having a big problem, but
Would you rather the child takes it, runs it down, or you actually find somebody that deserves to be that? Which of them?
Chances are the child doesn't run.
So how do you?
No, chances are, wait, hold on. Chances are a child doesn't run it. Chances are the child may not do it at the scale at which you do it.
But that's
Hold
when
on.
you rejection. That's when you
Yeah,
rejection.
but hold on. But the second person, the person that you're bringing, how are you sure that the person is not going
Go
to
to
do
food
it?
and
Well, the person likes the work.
Yes,
The
but
person
this
has been in the industry for a while.
There are too many people that, even America, there are too many people who have gone through the system, who have become CEOs, and they've scattered the whole company.
True.
Like it's a roll of the dice.
That's what I'm saying. So you prefer your child is there and he ruins it than somebody goes.
Yes, because if you were to roll,
Exactly.
because if you were to roll a dice, you'd rather roll a dice on what you have tried your best.
Yeah.
You've inculcated the child, you try to bring the child in, you send them to the right schools, you've done your best. So it's not better for you to roll the dice there than to roll it with something that.
So based on all of this, so what we're clearly saying is that family systems is quite essential to build this thing that we're trying to achieve, right? You know the way the Jews are, they keep everything within
Even the
them.
Italians.
Yes,
Like,
they keep
that's one
everything.
thing
That's the
Italians
way
do.
to have generational wealth.
Because wealth requires trust. So and who do you trust more than your family? You know, so it's not that they. That's why even there are some companies that the person that the daughter married is the person that is running the business. But because you married me, then I can't trust that you have my interests at heart. Because what you are doing is really, let's not joke. You spend your entire life building this thing, sometimes from nothing. So do you then just give it out to some,
And so that means that a few years from now, we'll not even see any generational wealth again, because a lot of children now are coming away that I'm doing social media, how many children are really doing family?
Yeah, but maybe that's how they are going to build their own generational wealth.
No, but we're talking about transferring a line. So is it about transferring that skill or transferring the money?
Or
The fact that,
transferring the
this
discipline?
family, we are now, all of us are now rich. Which one is the
For me,
real
this thing is not so difficult. Is you indoctrinate your child or whoever you are trying to hand over to. It's a simple process where you don't. It's like, okay, for example, the kind of schools you give an example of, like a pastor who wants to like hand over his ministry, right from the kind of schools that child starts to attend. You put him in that system where he already knows that in a few years from now, not a few years, couple of years from now, I'm going to be the one running this. So you kind of schools you take. So for example, you may not take him to the regular university. You may take him to a seminary or something of that sort, right? And the child already starts to understand that this is because God is the God of generations, right? So we can't just stop at one generation and then cut off the process. In my opinion, that's not success, because success has to be transferable. So if I'm in the shoes of that person or whichever business, I'm going to ensure that my children, understand the rudiments of that business.
So you're
now, at the end of the day,
saying that the King of England that have gone away from family thing now is wrong in your opinion?
How do you go away from family?
Prince.
He has it's because that's a space. If that was the only prince,
they won't even let him. They won't even let him.
If you just don't want to be king.
My dear, there are many kings and queens that didn't want to be king and queens.
See, this whole free, and that's the person I also have some
There's no freedom of any.
The person that before Queen Elizabeth actually took over, I think was supposed to preside what I can't remember. He was supposed to actually take control, but because of the whole white situation and all, he abdicated the position. Do you understand? So he fell in love. So what if this person falls in love with
that's why by design they try not to have one king. It's but then even when they're like, okay, after this person, this is the next in line. So after you run your madness, they remove you. They take the next person. Okay, you are running mad. Move you. Then if you are now the last in the line, you're like, okay, you cannot run mad. No, you can't. No, this is serious business. You can't spend your life building something and then you just let it go. It's
But why do you feel like you are letting it go? Why doesn't the child have an opinion.
Sorry to
I'm
say.
just saying. I'm just saying.
Valid question.
We are in a generation where
Valid
kids have
question.
lots of choices.
Yeah, valid
as you said, kids don't want to be doctors or lawyers. There are so many celebrities that are
I
actually
agree.
dreamers.
But let me ask you
You
this.
get, yeah.
Let me ask you. In your situation or my situation,
Yeah.
would you prefer how you are hustling to
Yeah.
this thing, or how I hustle to this thing? Or you have the option of this just come and do this thing. Which would you prefer?
Talk truth. Normally, say
Which
truth.
In my current situation, I'll be crazy to say I'm not going to prefer you. In my current, that's what I'm saying. But these kids that we are talking about, they are not in my situation.
Yeah.
They have choices. Like your wealth has opened them
They are
to
spoiled
different.
for
Do you
choices.
get? So it's like the fact that you built your wealth is like the only thing. There's this adage that says when the only tool you have is the hammer, everything becomes a nail. So once you build your wealth to that extent, that this is how I have the skills, I have everything. You now start to prep and condition the poor guy, the poor kid.
How is it for? The guys enjoying your work. How is it for?
No, I'm just saying that you're
I'm
trying
saying-
to say
I'm
that
saying from
you
the
would
perspective
define
of-
success as my child following after my
Your
footsteps.
footsteps.
Everybody's success at the end of the day, really, is that you had somebody to transfer everything. A successor is
You don't
as
agree?
important. That's what
I
had
agree.
because success.
I agree. That's why
Success-
But because of who you transfer it to, it may not be your
It may not be your biological,
child.
but
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
not. That's, when you say success, even in the success, that you can, and there are many people
It
that
must be a
have done
prototype
great
of you.
things. There are many. I go to football and I'll take Alex Ferguson, highly revered in England, but everybody is still talking about how can you have done this great thing, and then you leave and the whole thing just scatter. That's what people are referring to, rather than decades and decades.
Or
Of
you nominated the
So
successor
sorry.
in David Moyes.
Hey, but he has to bring
So question.
No, they are
So
touching a
question.
critical area. I'm Man U fan. That was a very wrong move because
you get-
it picked someone based on tribe,
And that's what I'm saying.
based
That's what
on
I'm saying.
my people, same Scottish background, not based on.
How are you sure if he had
Excellent.
chosen his
So
own son?
question, Gbemiga
Yeah.
Soname. So are you saying that if you even make all the money in the world and you know all the people and have all the influence in the world and you do not transfer it to the next person or the next generation, like you failed?
No, I don't think so. I don't listen to this.
again, it also depends on. No, but hold on. So, if you take Bill Gates, for example, and his kids are well adjusted, successful in their own.
Right.
He has a problem that you're talking about. Like they don't want to go out. Run,
Yeah, they don't do all.
They're
They
not
want to
here
do all
to
of that.
run
I'm sure he will give most of the money to charity.
That's
Yeah,
the
you already
thing,
said
that's
you
the
want
thing.
to
But
Africa.
he has now redefined this. He has seen it's like, okay, how I'm going to redefine my success is that I transferred my wealth to other. So at the end of the day, nobody's asking a question about did your child run Microsoft or not. The question they're asking, did you transfer? your
So
wealth?
is it a transference of wealth or a transference of the system that brings the wealth?
Did it which system?
Like he built an empire, he built micro.
And then the other people are running it. It's dead. It doesn't concern itself.
So in other words, the fact that he had the entire system and the company continues to
Run, then you
Yes.
can
So
say it's successful.
so as far as Microsoft is still the top technology company, he will consider it as success, whether it's one thing or not. And for his own personal life, his own personal finances, like okay, how I measure my success is that I'm able to give it all of
So at what point do you now begin to find a successor? Inputs.
that's a very
It depends on. You're always looking for success at any time. If you're running a company now, you must have a successor. Now, that's different from the plan you might have in 20 years' time, 30 years' time. But if you're running this, because if something happens to you, you want to run it. Now, the person may not be your
Sibling
sibling,
or your child.
Because at this point, maybe it doesn't make sense to even bring your family into it. But you must always.
Even within organizations, you are thinking of, key man risk. You don't want one person to be the full alpha and omega, the person that knows the job. Without him, you can't do nothing.
Yeah.
You don't want that also. So you try to document processes, try to get people to learn about the same thing that the person knows. After you do trainings and all of these things. So yes,
you should always be looking for someone so passionate. So, and when you do that, you even become better at what you do when you find someone.
So there are some people in this life that don't want to get married for whatever reason. Do you think that success is having it all?
What is
Successful marriage,
but if
career.
marriage is not part of the all. Life, I've defined, not mine, but I mean, the person has defined, because this is a God time. And so this part. So the person has defined ab initio that marriage is not part of life. So the pipe doesn't contain marriage. So how's that? So if the person has achieved, so if the person has achieved the other things, then he has it all.
So I want to go back to this Alex. Sorry, Alex Ferguson example. So are we saying now that success is not societally defined, it is personally defined? Because why would people say, oh, why didn't he have somebody to take over for it? He felt like, oh, according to my own metrics, so the metrics I set for my own success, and I'm fine. So is success societally defined, or is it personally defined?
So, the example you've given, I think we all love him. Great godfather, the one who, took the club from where it was to, so where it used to be to where it was, because the club is not there now, right? But I feel like, I'll say this carefully, but he didn't transfer success. He wanted to make a name for himself also in that process, because we all revere him for the excellent sport. And the way the nature of the game today is different from how it was then. Nobody stays in a club now for 20-something years, because the parameters of success has changed. Nobody's patient with you to build over a period of time. Now you get a coaching job. You give it 2 years. Now I don't talk too much football, but a coach just got sacked some days ago, even after they won a title that they had not won in over 20 years or so, right? But he still got sacked. Now, so the landscape is volatile. People, you don't measure, people don't have patience for long-term building success. At the end of the day, you still has to be your person. The world may have a view on whether you are successful or not. People may look at him and say he was successful. And I think he was successful because he brought a lot of honors, brought stability to the club. It changed the landscape of the club, right? People may look at him from the external and say now that because it didn't, or up to now, Man U has not had another coach that has delivered, Premier League to us, right? And say then he has failed in that area. But I don't think so, because there are many other parameters that are not within his control, right? If you don't sign the right players, if you don't put the right infrastructure in place, it was said that the equipment at the Manchester United Stadium, Old Trafford, right? Even Ronaldo alluded to that the equipment had gone, stale, was no more the best in town and all of that. So if you don't have all the necessary parameters to build a team successfully, it's not on me. Because actually people may say he didn't do well. Some may say he did well. I would say he did well because, like I said earlier, things have changed. So if the club doesn't invest in their academy, they don't invest in getting the right equipment, they don't invest in other things, like all the other ingredients that make the soup sweet. If people don't put all of those things together, then I think that you can't say he failed. So it's more of a personal definition. People would have their views societally. They'll think about you as long as whatever they wish, but I will still say, have I met the mark that I set for myself? Or yes, if I've met the mark, then I consider myself as successful, and I won't let anybody redefine it for me. Because success also exceeds beyond, we talk about making money. We talked about, having good jobs, having businesses you're transferring into. But success is also in things like learning, in growing. So I may fail at a task, but did I learn the lessons to move to the next level? That's success to me too. So it must both be intrinsic and extrinsic, like the things that you tie around being a successful person. I may just have a small shop, right? Someone may have a very big shop. It would be wrong for me to compare my small shop with the person's big shop. But if I have a desire to also have a big shop, then I should learn what the person who has a big shop has done, and then I grow my small shop with the relationship factor as well, which you pointed out, and then I grow to that extent. But if I'm okay with the small shop, that's success to me, and I'm okay with that.
Right. Okay. Any final question?
Yeah, so we talked about what success to you was that. So now after we've said
Yeah.
all these, what success is that?
Yeah.
So I need you to be very specific. Very specific. I know it's
No
happiness.
semantics.
Yes, I know it's happiness is joy. I need you to be specific. Happily married, a certain level in your career, certain amount of money in your account, a certain
One
access
information.
to certain people, whatever. Do you get those parameters? Yeah.
It's stressing because I never really judged myself on financial terms. For me, money was always a byproduct of doing something that I enjoy. And not to be confused with, I'm doing my passion. Something productive that I enjoy doing. I think the number one thing for me would be to have the influence to make the kind of change that I want. I think that would be the number one metric for me.
And so
More or less
influence
what
also
I-
involves money. Money.
Yeah, so money is part of the meat, but for me, I think I would try to influence more because of what I need. And then the second thing would be to, I know you don't want to be, but I take happiness as very important metric in my life. So if I don't feel like I'm happy doing the things that I created my life by God's grace deliberately to have some kind of happiness. So if I don't have that kind of happiness, then I wouldn't think that I've succeeded. But if I'm able to achieve that kind of consistent happiness that God has given me, then I consider that success. These are general success.
Okay. Yeah.
You share some deep. I'm like Stella, thinking of that great stuff, right? Thanks for sharing that. For me, relationships for me very key. I'm big on relationships. I'm big on sustaining relationships. Ensuring that everybody around me is sort of like living their. I can't make you live your best life, but I can sort of like play my part, my input. And that's very important because it's as simple as someone calls you, you are too busy to pick the call and you never return the call. And I'm saying this from a painful point because some months ago, my mechanic passed on, right? And he had called me. In my mind, I thought I knew why he was calling me because I felt okay. When I thought about me doing this to my car and I will eventually get to it when I'm ready. But that call from in hindsight was probably a call for the distress call. Because he then had an accident and probably was calling for some sort of support, right? And then I just had to re-examine my life to say, what are we really chasing? Probably I was busy trying to balance my spreadsheets for my organization and all of that and taking my time. And in that moment, I just left what could have been important. So I've had to re-examine my life now to say that relationships have to be core, paramount, key. Check on people as you are prompted to from time to time. And that itself gives me an intrinsic satisfaction that I cannot use money to buy, right? But also, I still have to be successful. Now, he said he has built God has helped him to build his life such that he's able to do things that you love to do, that gives you certain pleasure. But that's not the reality of everyone. Some people have to work jobs that they do not really like, but they must make, the ends must somehow meet that, even if it may not take them home, but somehow, they shall have to make something, right, at the end of the day. But I say to such people, and sometimes I find myself in that situation where, hey, I've trained years to be an accountant, I know all of these great things, but I've had to create an outlet for myself by volunteering every Sunday to teach children in church. It gives me amazing joy, right? There has to be that balance, because not everybody may be able to have that life where what you're passionate about is what also gives you more money and fulfillment in a sense. So if something is bringing you money, because in all labor there is profit. Whether you are behind the camera, whether you are streaming, in all labor there is profit, right? And the same rules apply. Hard work, you still have to do the same thing, right? Now, if you can, so I'm trying to define success from my own perspective. So if I can take my 9 to 5, give myself excellently to eat, I earn a certain amount of money, and I can take out of that and then, fund certain things that give me utmost joy and priority, right? That is also success to me, in a sense. Eventually, would there be a switch along the line? Maybe, as time goes on. But relationships, I've come to value that more than ever before. That it is key, and you should not, in trying to make money, in trying to do all of these great things, don't lose the people that are important to you. Family, friends, and every other person that God has put around your life. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I agree with what you said. I completely agree, because like my own say, should say the currency of this life is people and relationships. That no matter what you're doing in life, you should always remember that. So in the pursuit of money, because personally I've never even really liked that girl. Because the idea of money, don't get me wrong, I love money, but from my perspective, I mean, some people are lucky. You were born into wealth. I wasn't born into wealth. I had to work my way to where I am. So if you go to mothers at K2, if you see them, they don't have a choice. They have to actually be there by like 5 a.m. to take their kids to school. They don't have the ability to influence, or what do you put it, to have the influence to make some choices that will make them happy. Do you understand? So that being said, I would say I agree that success is materialistic in a sense, but it's also intrinsic, as I said. And that's why I said there has to be an alignment. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in as much as you are striving, you are pursuing money, you are pursuing the ability to get what you want, get your family what you want, don't forget to invest in the people that matter to you. Because at the end of the day, if you get that money, but you don't, imagine somebody that's working to be at the top, like CEO, but I mean, it costs you your family, it costs you relationship with your wife, it costs you relationship with your kids. You look back and it feels empty. So, but seeing your wife cheer you on, even on your lowest days, like you feel, in fact, you feel very successful. You feel like, okay, this is worth it. But so I just feel like it has to be an alignment on the inside of it.
So final question for you.
Really?
Success,
Thank you for putting me on the spot. Well done. What is success? I thought I was one asking questions. What is success to me? I am very high on family. Yeah, so I would say a happy, functional family. Because I'm very, one of the things that saddens me is when I see people that come from dysfunctional families, I just see that it will be a byproduct of the offshoot, as in the society will feel it, because there's just something wrong. The family is basic. So I'm very high on family. Very genuine, healing with my family. So having a functional, fulfilled, happy family is success to me. And also having money to do the things that I like. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So take care of the family.
Yeah, you now have.
You know, having money to do the things that I like. I'm also very high on being happy. So when I say do the things, you know, when you have money and say, oh, I can't do this, I can do this, just because you have money. So you can just choose. So I like that thing that you said, let everybody just have money. So they can just say, I'm not doing this thing. This is what I want to do. Yeah, so yeah, that's it for me. Thank you. So, to you now. What does success means?
So success for me is just saying well done. At the end of the day. That's it for me. That's what I want to hear. And that's what I want to come. So,
So now you are very serious. Me, I now look like you're serious.
If you do what you say you will do, you should still hear well done. So
This has been an impactful panel with an amazing guest. We just want to say thank you.
thank you so much.
And please like, share, subscribe, and see you on the next episode of
Spotlight with ID.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you
Bye.
for having us.